My lords and burgesses of Parliament, I wish to begin by thanking each and every one of you for the industry which you have invested into the kingdom this past year, both within Parliament and outside of it. In my memory, this session of Parliament is the longest in the kingdom's history, and I was particularly pleased to see the number of private members' bills filed this session. This session of Parliament showed both the very best and the very worst of the Kingdom of Scone. It showed us how much we are capable of making this kingdom a better place, and also how we are capable of unintentionally making it less so. We have also seen some of the greatest debates in this House's history during this session, as well as some of its most appalling behavior. Truly, my lords and burgesses, this is a session of Parliament that has filled me simultaneously with great hope and great trepidation for our kingdom's future. I noted with pleasure the thoughtful deliberation and respectful debate on the Annual Census Reestablishment Act, which saw many voices in this Parliament, including those we do not often hear from, but would be very pleased to hear more often from, engaging in thoughtful deliberation that represents the best of our kingdom. Sadly, debate on the motion of no confidence in my government stood in stark contrast in the other direction, with many lords and burgesses engaging in deeply personal attacks, politics of grievance, and poisonous factionalism that we see in wider macro politics. While in my constitutional role I necessarily remain silent on political matters, it is my duty to call to your attention threats to the peace and tranquility of our beloved kingdom. There is no person in this house who wishes to undermine our peace and tranquility here. I know that you all care about this kingdom as deeply as I and your fellow Scottish folk do. I encourage you to remember this fact in your discourse, in this house and elsewhere. It is good and right that there should be different viewpoints of this kingdom about how to enrich Scone best. And it is right and proper these views should be strongly and vehemently expressed in this house and elsewhere. We can engage in this difficult and important discourse without resorting to personal attacks and politics of grievance. Do any of us here wish to see the kingdom of Scone's vaunted parliament and political system reflect the dysfunction of macropolities throughout the world, particularly within the United States? Or do we want our kingdom to reflect the system which we all wish we could live in outside of these halls? I ask us to deeply reflect on these questions as we dissolve this parliament and prepare for the opening of the next. My lords and burgesses, as I dissolve this parliament, let too all personal divisions in this kingdom dissolve. Do not dissolve your firm beliefs on how this kingdom can be made better. Do not dissolve your fervent expressions and passions on issues of substance, policy, and your view of how this kingdom should best be operated. Let us only dissolve the darker impulses of our human nature that cause us to only see the worst in the other, and to assume that any citizen in this kingdom wishes to cause it harm. The sad irony is that when we fall into these blinders, we unintentionally cause the very harm that we are passionately hoping to avoid. I deeply care and love each and every citizen of this kingdom and cherish the Glennish Empire, and I know you all do as well. Let us resolve to do better and ensure that the next Parliament reaffirms the Kingdom of Scone's unique place in micronational polities with the vibrancy and collegiality of our Parliament. And let us be a model to macropolities of the sort of deliberative assembly we would like to be governed under. It is now my duty and pleasure to give my royal assent to various bills that have passed my Parliament during the last session, which I do now in the following words. Eric II, King of the Sconish, Emperor of the Glenmans, to our right trusty and right well beloved, the Lords Temporal of our realm, and to our right trusty and well beloved, the knights, citizens, burgesses, together in this present Parliament assembled, greeting. For as much in our said Parliament, diverse acts have been agreed and accorded upon by you, our loving subjects, the lords and burgesses in this present Parliament assembled, and endorsed by you as has been accustomed, the short titles of which are set forth in the schedule hereto. Yet the said acts are not of force and effect in the law without our royal assent, given and put to the said acts. And we do declare that after this our royal assent, given and declared as aforesaid, then and immediately shall be taken and accepted as good and perfect acts of Parliament, and put in due execution accordingly. And whereas we did lately for diverse, difficult, and pressing affairs concerning us, the state, and the defence of our kingdom of Scone, ordain this, our present Parliament, to begin and be holden at our city of Tartanic, on the 28th day of October 2022, on which day our said Parliament was begun, and is holden, and is there now holden. And whereas we have been duly advised by our Privy Council that the business of this session of our Parliament, and indeed this very Parliament altogether, is now in every wise finished and complete, we do herewith dissolve our Parliament accordingly, and our lords and burgesses are discharged from further attendance thereat. And we, being desirous, as soon as may be, to meet our people once again, and to have their advice in Parliament, do hereby make known to all of our loving subjects our royal will and pleasure to call a new Parliament to be holden at Aldkirk on the 26th day of October 2023, upon which date we do command each and all of you to reassemble here with us for the dispatch of business, to treat, do, act, and conclude upon those things that in our said Parliament, by the Common Council of Scone, may, by the favour of God, be ordained. In witness whereof, we have caused these our letters to be made patent. Witness ourself at Aldkirk on the 6th day of October 2023, in the 3rd year of our reign. And the acts to which I give my royal assent to are as follows. Expansion of Scottish Rights Act 2023. Le Roy Levourt. Prime Minister's Transparency and Accessibility Act 2023. Le Roy Levourt. Legislative Committee Act 2023. Le Roy Levourt. Transparency Enforcement Act 2023. Le Roy Levourt. My lords and burgesses, there being no further business for the consideration of this Parliament, I therefore declare this Parliament dissolved. May the blessings of God be with you and your loved ones, now and always.